God illuminated something for me this week during my quiet time, and I wanted to share that with you. And what I would like to do is invite you to consider the garden version of yourself. While I was journaling and praying, I was asking God about what the best version of myself looks like. You hear people talk about that all the time. I just want to be the best version of myself. And so I was asking this question, and I got this vision of being in the Garden of Eden. And I went back to God's original design and what he wanted for mankind before sin entered the world. And one day he is coming back to restore that when he eradicates sin and death and disease once and for all. And I think when we stop and we envision ourselves in the garden, what his original design was, that can't help but shift our perspective and how we function in the here and now. Even this past week, I found myself asking, would the garden version of Beverly choose to watch that TV show? Would the garden version of Beverly engage in that conversation? Would the garden version of Beverly entertain those thoughts? And I'm not here to cast shame or impose legalism at all. That is not my heart whatsoever. But at the same time, we are called to be holy as God is holy. And I think sometimes we get a negative view of like we're fine with God being holy. But I think when we consider ourselves as trying to achieve that, which we won't be able to on this side of heaven, but as we're working towards that, I think sometimes we can see that as being a little bit boring. But again, if you go back to God's original design, I think the garden was anything but boring. It was perfection. And I think deep down in our souls, each of us desires that life of perfection. So this week, as you go about navigating each of your circumstances, if you come to a crossroads or you're trying to figure out how to respond in a particular situation, I want to invite you to ask the question, what would the garden version of yourself do?